Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I am coming to you live, guys, from Florida, and today is Monday, so it's book club day. If you're new to my content, I am your guide on your spiritual journey of healing. I help people heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So every single Monday we get together and we talk about, right now we're reading The Untethered Soul. We have read a variety of books, but I absolutely love the wisdom that gets captured over the years in books. And Michael Singer is absolutely incredible. The questions he asks, the things he has you contemplate are phenomenal. So this week, it's all about contemplating death, which, let me ask you, and for those of you that are on Book Club live with me and you read the chapter, let me know when you arrive. For those of you that are just popping in to hear this conversation, welcome. This conversation is one that I think everyone needs to hear. In fact, you should probably share this, tag a friend that needs to hear it, because the questions I'm going to have you asking yourself and considering can literally change your life. Hey, Tina, good to see you. Hey, guys over here, good to see you. Let me ask you this. How often do you think about dying? Do you think about it daily, monthly, weekly, maybe annually? Jane, I'm glad you found the live stream. Perfect. Hey, Lou. How often do you contemplate this, your own death? You know, the Stoics have the saying, what is it? Memento mori? Like, do you contemplate your death ever? For me, not too often. Hey, Karen. Emmy says a lot of the time. You know, I really didn't until I lost my health. Like when I was in that car accident, it was very clear to me that like we're here by a string, by just a thin thread. And I thought, wow, I could have lost my life, you know, and that could happen any day, anytime. So a lot of you, some of you are saying occasionally, some not often. Great. What I want to say is don't be afraid to. If you don't think about it, is it because you're afraid to think about it? Or you're a little uptight about it. It's like, well, that's just like, I don't even want to go there. Whatever it might be, remember this. I love how this chapter started out. Mickey says, it's truly a great cosmic paradox that one of the best teachers in all of life turns out to be death. The thing that we encounter at the end of this life turns out to be the thing that gives you the deepest teachings. And we're going to talk about today. You know, he says, you know, what does death teach you? Well, someone could tell you that you're not your body. Death shows you that you're not your body. You know, I talk to you guys often, for those of you that have done mastery, you've heard me talk about the ocean and the wave, right? This concept that we are the ocean, we've come into form in this lifetime as the wave. And I can tell you that all day long. I can tell you, no, you are the ocean. No, you are more than just this body. You are a soul, right? A spirit having a human experience. I can tell you that all day long, but when you die and just the physical body goes and your soul continues on, then you'll know. It's just, you've forgotten. Jane says, I'm just focused on living. But when I read Mickey's chapter, it resonates to think about death. It does. It totally does. He says, while someone could remind you of the insignificance of the things that you cling on to, death takes it all away from you in seconds. You know, I watched a mentor of mine, she's my age, she passed away from colon cancer, stage 4. And within a few months, she was gone. And she was multi-millionaire on the trajectory to become a billionaire and, you know, had everything you could desire. And she said, you know, because she got the news and she was still giving talks and sharing. And she said, you know, I have everything in the world, but the one thing I don't have is my health, which is the one thing I want and the one thing that money, you know, can't buy. It's giving me options and treatments, but, you know, all of these things are not important because the one thing that actually does matter is my health and being here. Right? Death teaches you that. He says, while people can teach you that men and women of all races are equal and that there's no difference between the rich and the poor, death instantly makes us all the same, right? Just because you have money doesn't mean you're escaping death. And everyone's equal, right? We're all humans. So just some little contemplations, but there are some powerful questions that he says to ask, which I'm going to take you through today. So if you want pen and paper, go for it. If you want to just put your responses in the chat, go for it. But like, this is a reflective day. Okay, because there was a lot. Like this whole chapter was questions. I'm reading this like, oh my God, how do you pull out the good stuff? The whole thing's good. So he says, are you going to wait until the very last moments for death to be your teacher, right? A wise being will completely and totally embrace the reality, the inevitability, and the unpredictability of death. right? None of us know when the last day is. It's not stamped on the bottom of our foot. We don't have an expiration date. Like, we don't know. And ego has a really hard time with this, right? Our mind has a really hard time and typically doesn't want to contemplate death because the mind believes that when this body goes, everything's done. Your ego mind believes this is it. And so contemplating its own destruction is not something that it wants to do. And it will avoid and backpedal and try to navigate around it. But it's because the mind doesn't realize that, hey, you're more, right? The mind is here in the wave form, helping us navigate this world of form, but we are more than that. So important to understand. And this was a really powerful sentiment. He says, if with one breath all of this can change, then I want to live at the highest level while I'm alive. I'm going to stop bothering the people I love. I'm going to live life from the deepest part of my being. What if you knew that this evening would be the last time that you would see the people you love? Right? And this is actually where I wrote out some questions for you all. You ready? Here's the scenario. Okay? Here's the scenario. What I just read. What if you knew tonight you were passing away? What if you knew tonight? Hey, Clayton, good to see you. All right, what if an angel came to you and said to you, tonight is the end? Every person you see that day, it's going to be the last time that you see them. How would you feel? You can put it in the chat. You can write notes. Some of these might resonate more than other questions, but I want to get in here with you on this topic. If you were dying tonight, then as you go about your day today, it's the last time you're seeing these people. How would you feel? Right? Would you be more present? Would you just simply enjoy how some people are showing up, the way that they're speaking, the things that they're talking about, the way they're dressed, the way they talk, their behaviors, their mannerisms? Would you just soak it all in a very different way? Right? How would you interact? Would you be angry? Would you be loving? Would you be silent? How would you be? Emmy says, I'd be present with love. Yeah. What would you do with all those grudges you have, especially with certain people? What would you do with those grudges? More loving. I'd really be there. Lots of hugs and kisses. Clayton says, I would be silent. I'd be more present. I would enjoy them so much more. I would show more love. Those grudges, would you just release them? Would you let them go? Emmy says she would. Would you complain at all? If today was the last day, would you complain? How much love would you give the ones that you love? Yeah, Lou says, I would release the grudges. Forgive them and let it go. Yeah. Look at the things around you right now. Look at the things that you were thinking about this weekend. Look at the things that you have. If today was your last day and you were to look at those things that you think that you need, what importance do they really have? All the stuff. What importance do they really have? Interesting to think about. Super interesting to think about. I remember after my car accident, I had to move from Colorado back with my parents because I couldn't work. I didn't have an income. And so I put all my stuff in storage. And I remember thinking oh my gosh, it's my stuff. I'll be back out here. I'll give it a year. I put it in storage. Fast forward a year. I wasn't better. I was still very sick. Could not live on my own. So I went out to the storage unit because I thought, well, this is silly to keep paying for this thing. And I went through it. I had one friend with me. And I was just sat there why did I think any of this was important? Why have I been paying to keep this stuff? None of it matters. None of it. I sold, got rid of, donated everything in that storage unit except for a small suitcase of stuff I'd gotten from travels, right? That had some sentimental value or memories or whatever. I thought, oh, that's nice to decorate my house with or my home with, You don't care. All of a sudden, these things they don't matter. Look at how you're spending your time. This is an interesting audit, okay? If this was your last day, or push it out a week, a month, your last 6 months, right? That mentor of mine, she was told she had 6 months to live. and I watched how she audited her time, what would you do? How much time and energy would you put into the activities that you're currently doing? How would you change how you're spending your days? What would you be doing with your day to day? Where would you live? Right? Fidelis says this is spot on. It makes you live every day like it's your last and live life to the fullest. It also makes you be present, and that's the gift. It truly is. It truly is. That truly is the gift. All right. What would your priorities be with your time? It's super deep, Clayton. I know. Today is like, whoo, like we're going there. Okay. Well, Nikki took us there. This is where the book took us. Jane says this is an interesting one. You wouldn't care about needing money. Yeah. Look at your thoughts. Which ones would you get rid of? If today was your last day, all right, looking at your thoughts, would you listen to them? Would you just veto some of them? Would you just not give them attention, right? Thoughts only get the power that we give them. Woohoo, that's a big one. Okay, thoughts only get the power that we give them. Yeah. Now, what if you lived this way from every moment going forward, every single day? Contemplate what would change. If you had the awareness that tomorrow's not coming, how would you live today? And what would it be like for you if you showed up every day with that knowing? Realizing, like he said, there was that yogi, right, that said he lived his life as if there was a sword over his head being held up by a spider web. Just the thinnest thread. And it could come down at any time. All right? And he says, okay, so now that you've contemplated what would I do, if that's what you would do in your last day, in your last month, in your last year, what are you doing with your rest of your time here? Okay? Are you just wasting it? Are you just throwing it away? Or are you treating every moment of the day as precious as you can, as though it is the most precious thing? Yes, Jane, we can talk about the money thing for sure. What are you doing with your life? This is what death is asking you. This is what Mickey was asking us to think about in this chapter, right? If the angel of death comes and says, you know, I'm taking your life tomorrow or next week, you would say, no, give me one more week. Give me one more week, right? They say, no, you're dying tomorrow. You say, no, give me one more week. Give me one more month. We would start bargaining, right? And it's so funny. I love how Mickey just like takes these things really deep because he says, hang on a second. How ridiculous would it be for you to start negotiating with the angel of death to say, hang on, no, just one more week. Give me another week. Give me another month. Give me another year. Because they have the right to ask, well, hang on a second. Death would say, I've given you 52 weeks in the last year alone. How many weeks have I given you in this lifetime? Why would you need more? Were you not using them effectively? Were you not being intentional? What did you do with all the ones that I gave you? I love that question because it's like, we're going to ask for more, but that's a fair question for death to say, yeah, but what did you do with what I gave you? So guys, what are you doing with the time that you have now? You know, what are you doing with it? All right. It is unreal that some of us would answer that question and say, well, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize it was limited. If I had known that I was going to die, you know, at age 50, I would have done this by the time I was 50. All right. But we don't know. You never know. None of us do. And so why not have this contemplation now? Emmy says it's a great way to live life, to be conscious and to be at peace all of the time. Yeah. Right? Death is a great teacher. This is why contemplating death is important. Okay? It's not morbid. It's not anything. It's like, no, it's teaching you the importance of life. All right? And what is it that you carry in your heart? As I was asking you these questions about what would you do? Where would you want to spend time? Blah, blah, blah. You know, why are you compromising? Why are you not doing those things? Why are you allowing your mind to play games with you? knock it off, right? Knock it off. It's not important, all right? He pointed out time and time again, someone died doing what you're doing right now. Someone died watching a live video. Someone died reading a book. Someone died driving to the store 2 minutes from their house. Someone died doing the activity that you're doing right now. It could be you. You're not special. You're not immune to it. None of us get out of this one alive, right? So bring awareness into every single moment. Why should anything stop you? You know, why should anything stop you? Guys, death is coming anyway. You're not getting out of here alive anyway. You're going to die anyway. So why is anything stopping you? Why are you giving it any amount of energy beyond the power of what death says, which is, you can't keep any of this. I'm taking you at the end of this. Make the most of it while you're here, right? Clayton says, death smiles at us all, and all we can do is smile back. Yeah, it's super interesting. So let me, I want to kind of jump ahead here. So everything is a million times more meaningful in your final week. But what if you were to live every single day that way, right? What if we lived every single day that way? At this point, you should ask yourself why you aren't living that way. You are going to die. You know that. You just don't know when. Every single thing will be taken from you. You will leave behind your possessions, your loved ones, and all your hopes and dreams for this particular life. You'll be taken right out of where you are. You'll no longer be able to fill the roles that you are so busy filling right now. Okay? Death changes everything in a flash. That's the reality of the situation. If all these things can be changed in an instant, then maybe they aren't so real after all. Maybe you'd better check out who you are. Maybe you should look a bit deeper and start asking some deeper questions. Before I dive into where we were, Jane asked a really good question. Like, as she was reflecting, she said, well, hang on a second. Then if I knew I was dying tomorrow, then I wouldn't have to worry about money. And so then I wouldn't be doing those things. Now, this is what's interesting. In life right now, in the world that we're in, like, you need money. Okay, it's just the system and the way that it works at present. So we need to be doing those things. But guys, all of you have unique gifts. All of you can bring value. And how do you earn money? In proportion to the value that you bring, to the problems that you solve for others, to the support that you give society. Like, everything can be compensated for. All right, so the question is, well, if you're not liking how you're currently spending your time, if it's not giving you a ton of value, figure out what would. You might say, well, I would just want to travel. Okay, well, there are ways for you to get paid to travel, right? It's a thing that many people have figured out. Find someone that figured it out and go do it. All right, there are ways to do it. But what he says and what he gets to is that, you know, we'll jump in here. Where was it? Let me find it because this perfectly got at it. Okay. If you challenge, I'm on page 161. Jane, this will be helpful for you to go to and for anyone that has the book. He says, if you challenge yourself to live as though it were your last week, your mind may come up with all kinds of suppressed desires, right? It might say, well, I want to go travel here. Or I want to go do this, or I want to meet this person, or I want to have this experience. And yes, Jane, correctly, like, it's going to cost money. This is like the whole thing that the Make-A-Wish Foundation is actually founded upon. Oh, let's give these children that have terminal, diseases, the option, the ability to have like their one wish, right, come true and to experience that in this lifetime. What Mickey says is, if this is what starts to come up for you, you will soon realize it's not the answer. You will soon see it's not the answer. You have to understand that it is your attempt to get special experiences from life that makes you miss the actual experience of life. I'm going to read that again. It is your attempt to get special experiences from life that make you miss the actual experiences of life. Life is not something that you get. It's something you experience. Life exists with or without you. It has been going on for billions of years. You simply get the honor of seeing a tiny slice of it right now in 2024. If you're busy trying to get something, you will miss the slice that you're actually supposed to be experiencing. Every one of life's experiences is different, and every experience is worth having. This is the polarity, right? We need death in order to appreciate life, because if we didn't have death, life wouldn't be precious. It would go on for forever, so we would think, well, I would just have forever amount of time, so I'm not going to take anything seriously. Death makes us say, this is limited. When something is limited, when it's scarce, it has more value. All right, so we value it more. And Jane, in this life, in 2024, right, like money is required. So what he's saying is show up fully in every moment. The point of life is to be your fullest self in every single moment, to do the things that give you pleasure and that you're having enjoyment with. All right, does that make sense? Is that helping get at what you were asking? I hope so. It's a really like important part. He says, the only thing there is to get from life is the growth that comes from experiencing it. Like, that's the only thing. Our soul is here for evolution. Our soul is here to grow, to learn certain lessons. And so the thing we're meant to get out of life is exactly the challenges, the circumstances, everything that's being served to us. We're meant to learn. It's the growth that comes from the experiences. It's not going for this experience and that experience. You're missing the day-to-day. Like, how many people do you know, and you can raise your hand if it's you too, that you miss the present day because you're going after something in the future? Like, you're totally not present in today because you're too busy about a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, the promotion you're wanting, the relationship you want, blah, 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 right? And you miss the here and now. And that's what he's trying to say. Death is trying to tell you, I could take your life tomorrow. Did you enjoy today? Were you even present today? Were you paying attention today? Or were you some zombie? Were you not paying attention, right? Wake up is what death is saying. Wake up. All right. Everything is a million times more important. Okay. Can you just be present? Can you just be absolutely present? So the bottom line of this lesson, if I were to kind of sum it up, this is page 162. Try to learn what it's saying to you. The highest way to learn is to take each moment of your life and realize that what matters is to live it fully. If you live each moment completely, you will have a fuller life and you will not have a fear of death, right? Learning to stay present, Tina says. Yeah, it's the truth, because you will literally enjoy everything to the fullest. I remember vividly being in the car with my boyfriend and him just smiling. And I was like, what is he smiling about? We're just driving, you know? And he's like smiling to the point of like almost laughter, like just pure joy. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, you just don't understand. Like, the AC is on. We've got good roads to drive on. Like, he was so fully present in the moment and so completely grateful at just like what was unfolding. How many of us get in our car, flip on the AC, don't think about it? We're thinking about where we're going, what's going to happen when we get there. Did we forget about something? Oh shoot, this, that, and the other thing. Like, we're not present. Can you just be so fully present that you're like, you are living life to the fullest if you're enjoying the trees along the way as you drive, right? You're fully present. You're feeling the AC. You're absolutely loving the fact that you've got nice roads to drive on. Like, just complete gratitude. You got a car to be in. Like, that's what he's talking about. This is like, are you really enjoying that? I'll never remember either, like bringing my spiritual teacher, Gurudev, to the gym every day. It was like a 2-minute drive. You know, and in the beginning, I would ask him lots of questions. Then I got to the point where I'm like, the answer's the same all the time, right? That the mind's an illusion, ignore it, drop in, right? Like, and I just witnessed him. I was just watching him. He appreciated like how the sun was hitting the trees, you know, and how pretty the leaves looked. And just like he was so fully present with what we were doing and where we were at that moment. It's amazing to live life that way. That's what Mickey's saying. That's a full life. It's not some experience. You can have some experience and then, oh, whatever. Like, you're like, oh, I still don't feel great. Like, oh, I went skydiving. It was great for the time I was skydiving, but now, oh, here I go feeling not great again. No. Yeah, that's being present with Shakti in ecstasy. It is, Emmy. Totally is. Yeah. Jane says, even closer to home, be blown away by the incredible bodies that we have, the miracles they do. Yeah, you eat. I was just eating nuts. My almonds and cashews are now turning into my body. Isn't that wild? Like, you have a machine that can take an apple and an orange and whatever and turns it into your physical being. That's wild. That's some crazy alchemy, right? I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely, Jane. Well said. Most of us throw away life, right? We live for the mind. We don't live life, right? He says you fear death because you think that there's something to get that you haven't experienced yet. Many people feel that death will take something away from them, but the wise person realizes that death is constantly giving them something. Death is giving meaning to life. You really don't need more time before death. What you need is more depth of experience during the time that you're given. What you need is to be present. Feel grateful to death for giving you another day, another experience, and for creating this scarcity that makes this life so precious. All right? He says, instead of getting lost in the normal mental chatter, why not contemplate the temporal nature of life? Why not think about something meaningful? So that's your challenge this week. If your mind starts going, as it inevitably will, right? Because that's the way that the mind is. And when your mind starts going, notice it, and then make it, rather than having some chat about what your neighbor said or how things should be, or this doesn't look right, or blah, 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 this person said this, I forgot about that, blah, 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 blah. Rather than all that chatter, stop it and make it have chatter around a meaningful thought. Like, what would I do if this was my last week? Get it going down that train of thought. And then pay attention, right? Pay attention. Do that. I challenge you this week to do it. Okay? Final thought I'll leave you with. This is such a good chapter. Like, I highlighted everything. I think I highlighted this whole book. But he says, you should be experiencing the life that's happening to you, not the one you wish was happening. How many times does your thoughts say, it should be this way, it ought to be this way, I wish it was this way, well, I want this, I'm not going to be happy until I have that, I need a better relationship, a better house, a better this, a better that, blah, 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 I need to not be sick, I need this, I need that. He says, no. You should be experiencing the life that's happening to you today, as it is, fully. Not the one you wish was happening. Don't waste a moment of life trying to make other things happen. Appreciate the moments that you are being given. Don't you understand that every minute you're a step closer to death? So why aren't you enjoying this minute? Right? Every minute you're a step closer to death. This is how to live your life. You live it as though you were on the verge of death because you are. I thought, I'll be honest, like last week when I saw the name of this chapter and I was like, contemplating death, I was like, oh, we're going to have a morbid discussion next Monday. But as I read the chapter and as I'm sitting here talking with you all now, to me, this is one of the lightest and most powerful chapters. Do y'all feel that way? Like, put a 1 in the chat if you're with me. Like, this, I think, was just such a beautiful contemplation to step back and go, holy cow, let's actually get back to what really matters. Who's going to win the election and what wars are happening and this and that and everything else that our minds are so, taken up with and creating anxiety for. Like, time out. This is my last minute here on earth. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to spend it stressing about, what politician is doing this or that or what's happening somewhere else in the world? No, I'm going to spend it here and now, present with the people around me, with the things around me, and I'm going to treat everyone as if it's the last time I see them. I mean, what if you treated everyone as if they were going to die today and that you were the last person they interacted with? I mean, really. How different would you be to people that you bump into in line or as you're driving or a homeless person you see on the street or whatever else? What if they died today? What if you were the last one that they interacted with? The last interaction they had with humanity? Would it be a positive one? Would they feel love? What would they feel coming from you? That could be it. You just never know. I mean, you just never know. And you will never know, right? You have impacted someone's life, guaranteed. Someone is still smiling or laughing or feeling good because of something that you did in the past. So why not every day live, number one, as if it's your last day so that you're doing the things you want to do, showing up how you want to show up, not letting your mind think anything else. Like, you're going to die. Okay? I love that he's just like, you're going to die. So, like, get over yourself. And then what if you also lived... Yeah, Lou says smile and make eye contact. Like, Charlotte said, my dad taught me this. Yeah, treat people as if they're passing away tonight. How would you treat them? What would you do for them? How could you make something meaningful? Powerful. Really, really powerful. All right. I can't believe we're coming towards the end of this book. This book was so good. So good. So chapter 18, The Secret of the Middle Way. So we're getting into The Secret. Next week we will read that, and then it looks like chapter 19, The Loving Eyes of God. Is that the last one? That is. So we've got 2 weeks left of book club. If you want to continue book club, I will put out some options for books. If you have ideas for books, let me know. If you just put a 5 in the chat if you would like to continue this. I know we're about to move into summer. People will be traveling and whatnot, but put a 5 in the chat if you have gotten value from these, you'd like to continue, or if you're like, I'm feeling good, you can put a 4 in the chat. I genuinely like to know. I'll put it in the Telegram chat as well. I don't know if I can do polls there. So I'm seeing some 5s. Okay, the number is 5, not 4. All right, so we're liking it. Okay, cool. So I'll find another book. I've got one sitting over here that I might move to, but we got 2 more weeks with Mickey, so we'll enjoy him, and then we'll figure out where we go from there. I'm sure we'll probably start our new book like mid-June, right? Because we have to pick the book, announce it, get people, get our books, and then we'll start. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week, though, for chapter 18. If you're not in the Telegram, let me know. We'll get it to you. I'm sending lots of love, and I hope that you had a beautiful Mother's Day and celebrated your mom. And if you are a mom, lots of love to you. And I will talk to you all in a week. Bye, guys.